Recording in progress.
Thank you very much. Thank you for waiting just a few minutes after our work session tonight. Tonight is Monday, September 13th, time now 6:13, and I'll call to order this regular meeting of the Town of Mead Board of Trustees in accordance with the town's disaster declaration dated March 21, 2020, related to the COVID-19 virus and the town's emergency electronic participation policy. For regular and special meetings, this meeting will be held virtually in Zoom. Virtual access information, including the Zoom meeting link, has been provided on the town's website and at designated posting places at least 24 hours to the meeting. I'd like to remind everyone present, please, both in person and virtually, of the town's general guidelines for public comment at open meetings. Copies of these guidelines are available in the back of this room and are available online. Mary, roll call, please.
Sorry, I'll do the roll call. Mayor Whitlow.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Here.
Thank you. Trustee Babcock.
Here.
Trustee Broadhead.
Here.
Trustee Cartwright.
Here.
Trustee Fox.
Here.
Trustee Harris.
Here.
Mayor Whitlow, today is Monday, September 13th, 2021, and you do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Please join me in a moment of silence for those lost who have lost family members and all the heroes from our events on September 11th, 2001. Thank you very much. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And next we move on to review and approve agenda. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call please, Mary.
Trustee Harris.
Yes.
Trustee Babcock.
Yes.
Trustee Fox.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams.
Yes.
Trustee Broadhead.
Yes.
Trustee Cartwright.
Yes.
Mayor Whitlow.
Yes. Thank you, motion carries. We'll go on to our staff report by our town manager. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor, trustees. You have my report. As a way to punctuate the various things on my report, I've actually asked Erica to step up and talk to you a little bit about Highland Lake, the project that's going on out there, as well as the 3rd Street project, and I believe we're gonna introduce Robin, who's our deputy town engineer, who's actually working on that 3rd Street project as her main thing. So go ahead, Erica, if you would.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As you may have noticed, if you've been out to Highland Lake, some equipment was dropped off there last week, and they started in earnest today with demolition of the concession stand and started some tree removal, and so that project's moving forward. And that is implementing one of our master plans. There's the first phase of the master plan we had done for Highland Lake. Second of all, I want to introduce our new deputy town engineer. Her name is Robin Brown, and she comes to us from Woodland Park, where she was the public works director and town engineer there. So she brings a lot of great experience and is fitting in seamlessly in our operations here. So I'm gonna let Robin come up and just introduce herself and give you a little update on 3rd Street. Good evening, Mayor.
Welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
You. Thank you. I love being here so far.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. I'm really enjoying my time, and your staff is fantastic, and your town is fantastic. So thank you for having me. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on 3rd Street. I'm sure you guys have seen what's going on out there. currently the project is going from approximately Weld County Road 34 and a half up to just north of Lake Helen Boulevard, which is the access to the Highlands subdivision. So that's where kind of the biggest impacts are now. In the future, the project will go, I think it's over 38, Weld County Road 38.
Willow.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Willow.
Oh, Willow, okay. So to date, the contractor has installed a bunch of stormwater pipe and inlet boxes. They've milled and removed all the previously existing asphalt in that area that we were just talking about. They removed unsuitable soils and replaced them with more suitable soils for their subgrade. And this week, they are working on reconditioning and recompacting the subgrade that's in that area. Additionally, they've staked locations for sidewalk and curb and gutter, and utility companies have been out there and they've been relocating their utilities there that are impacted by the project. And then in the next few weeks, you'll see some new aggregate base course going down, and then some curb and gutter that'll hopefully start getting poured at the end of next week. So we have seen a few delays for the project. When they started excavating for the stormwater pipe, they ran into kind of a spaghetti network of unknown utilities, and so finding those all over the place in several different locations, just having to figure out what they are and relocate them or abandon them as needed. But even with those delays, the project is moving forward pretty well, and they're on schedule to finish by the end of the year and hopefully by the end of November this year. And then a note on traffic impacts. Leading up to this week, the contractor has been able to work without having any hard closures, which is basically a closure where no traffic can get through. They've been able to facilitate traffic to go through one lane alternating between Lake Helen and Eagle Avenue, which is the access to Feather Ridge Estates there. This week, though, they were supposed to start today. Hopefully tomorrow they will start with a hard closure between Lake Helen Boulevard and Weld County Road 36, where they're going to install a stormwater pipe across the road, so that should impact traffic for a couple of days. And then just a note on public information and communication. We've been working pretty hard on trying to notify public with weekly emails. We meet with the contractor and the project manager, Tesco, on a daily basis, as well as the traffic control team. We meet on site and coordinate what's gonna be done for the next day. And then also we send out a weekly email to all the stakeholders, like fire and EMS and schools, just notifying them of what the construction schedule is for next week, and then also any sort of traffic impacts that they can expect to see. And then that also is posted on social media, right, so that they can get updated. And yeah, and in conclusion, we think the project's moving along pretty well, and we're trying to keep everybody as informed as we can. Any questions?
All right, welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Wait,
Steve, sorry,
that's right.
Rob.
That's all right. The sidewalk is all on the east side,
I believe so, yes.
the full length. I didn't realize how close that sidewalk was going to be until the road got left. There's a row of really big trees right there. I mean, will those be removed?
We don't have plans to remove any trees, so the sidewalk's gonna be attached to the curb. So it will, and we did that for that very purpose, because we wanted to avoid some of those larger trees that are out there.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Helen,
So in conclusion, the reason why I wanted to have her talk about this is, again, when people ask you about it, this is what a total rehabilitation looks like. If we were in a situation where we had, like, for example, once that road is done, I don't know, 10 years from now, it may need another overlay. So we'll go in with one of these machines and we'll just take off the top 2 inches and It's kind of like a self-digesting machine, and then it basically puts the asphalt back on. You know, the whole project would be done in 2 days as opposed to 3 months. So it's just another learning tool about when you have to go in and remove all that underlayment. And because you do, you have that opportunity to put in the right utilities. Some utilities are being relocated, but the depth and breadth of this project is all because we had to do a complete rehabilitation. But hopefully in the future, we're gonna have roads, for example, these new roads that are being built along as part of our subdivisions, they should be a relatively minor repaving in the future. So I just wanted to throw that out there because sometimes people really get mad at us. We've gotten some very, very nasty calls from people. Even some people on our staff that really had nothing to do with the project. But we really thank you for your patience and understanding.
All right, any questions or comments for him?
This is not related to those projects, but to the Highlands, with the sidewalk being closed between Coyote Run and Feather Ridge. I understand it's for safety while they do all that major grading, but that is a main way to school for a lot of kids all the way up to Markle Farms. Is there any way we can keep it open or open it like if we school times or something? I mean, there's a lot of kids who now are kind of stuck because they can't go back behind and, you know, there's still that kind of part that's closed on 3rd Street, but how long is that supposed to be closed?
Yeah, I believe that was a 30-day closure while they grade, but I can certainly check with the developer tomorrow.
I mean, if there's any way, cause a lot of it is not next to it, so if they could close it for the shortest amount of time, just because, especially this time of year, there are so many kids that ride their bikes, especially because a lot cannot ride the bus right now because they're limiting bus riders still, and I know, it's super frustrating, and people are on wait lists, so the only way to school for a lot of these kids is biking, and obviously 3rd Street is not an option, nor should it ever be, but that was just, I've seen that, and then, you know, kids go back and forth from town, and so if we could not close it for the full 30 days, cause I know a lot of kids are like, oh yeah, it has the closure, but we went through and we don't want that either, so.
Yeah, I'd be happy to check on it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Questions, comments? Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Okay, next is our informational item, public information officer update, by our,
Hello, thank you. You're gonna have a lot of information in front of you, because it's been so long since I've seen you guys. Hit play. So I'm gonna go over an event recap, which kind of is a review of everything we did this summer, and what we learned. So concerts and movies were fairly well attended. They definitely picked up towards the end of summer. We saw 150 to 200 people attending. Movies, a little less, 75 to 100, but again, both of them, they picked up towards the end of the summer. National Night Out was in conjunction with concerts. We had a concert, we had activities. That was the most successfully and well attended. Great feedback. We had 250 to 300 attendance. And overall, that was really a highlight for our summer events was National Night Out with PD. Community Day went fantastic, if I say so myself. It was very smooth. Our food trucks loved us. They all want to come back because by the end of the night they were sold out. So that was 3 food trucks and then 2 dessert trucks, that made a lot of money. We had 3 bands perform, and again, a smooth transition between those 3. The stage and the crew that, did the audio was very, very good. Worked with us, worked with our public works, and, kind of worked out all the kinks. So it was very nice. I'm very happy. It's really hard to, kind of guess how many people were out there. It's the most I've ever seen, in my 2 years here. I would put it upwards of 1,500, based on the amount of people that, were eating and all the food that was sold out. The vendors, were happy with the results of that as well. The biggest thing this year, compared to 2019 was we did have our Mead High School football players back and volunteering throughout the day. So they helped, they were really important for that smooth transition of vendors coming in and setting up, and the tents, which I think is still out there, and doing all that, handling the parking. So it was nice to have them out there, and a relief for the staff to utilize them. They are young and strong. So events to come, we do have the Community Day / Homecoming Parade this Friday at 4. So we have 20 people that have registered for that, 20 people / businesses. We did social media for it. We took the registration. The student council is going to organize the event, and then we're, Public Works is doing the road closures, and then Kayla will be out there to help kind of direct student council. It is something that they wanted to take on, and we want to support youth in that. We're also, hoping to get a couple of them to work for us, so we'll see. The next one would be Veterans Day on November 11th. And our plan with this is to assist the Mead schools. The schools usually do something for Veterans Day, and we want to help them. So whether that's us, purchasing stuff for them or whatever they want from us, that's what we plan to do. And then Christmas in the park. So December 4th, mark your calendars. We're planning for a midday event. So very similar to kind of Community Day, where it's during the day, we have activities, different things planned, a parade, and tree lighting to end. So a little bit different this year, but we have seen through the summer that those activities, whether it be giving out 150 free hot dogs, bringing in different food trucks, having that variety really brings people to the event draw. Talking with Kaylee and what we want to do, looking for 2022, there's 3 things that really bring people to events, whether it's in Mead or another community, and that is music and your bands, having them have a draw of their own. So a lot of the bands that we brought in this year had their own following on Facebook, so they are bringing people into Mead. Activities is a big one. Adults had axe throwing, so I hope you tried that out. But the activities are a big thing. It brings people in, it gets them to stay. The longer kids are playing, the longer the parents are staying. So, and the other thing, of course, is fruit. So free food, shoo it. We did vendors, they did very well, and that also seemed to be a draw. Throughout our concerts in the park and for Community Day. They don't mind paying for food if it's something they want to eat. So those 3 things are really what bring people into all events, and we saw that this year with our Mead events. So you haven't heard me talk about signage in a while, so I thought I'd give my spiel. Just as a recap, what we did, as a reminder, this is a continuation of our branding. So we are doing design, revision, and selection. Then we build out the sign family, we select sign materials, construction documents, coordinate with CDOT, and then fabrication and implement. So right now, we are on selection of sign materials. You're on selection of sign materials. So we've gone through the design process. There's been 6 different renderings of the working group within the town has kind of gone back and forth about what we're looking for. And there's different aspects. I'll go forward one more. So what we're looking for, cost effectiveness. We want to get the most for our buck, and that happens to be metal materials. Low maintenance and ease of cleaning and maintaining, that would be metal materials. Single mount, one pole in with a sign, and not the double ones, because again, it goes back to the ease of implementation and cost effectiveness, and eye catching. So we want to be able to differentiate Mead from other areas, which is our goals of highlighting key destinations, ensuring businesses are supported, attracting economic development, differentiating Mead from other areas, while providing a sense of community and inclusion to those outlying areas. And again, funding, how do we fund this? Grants, MURA, and impact fees. So the grant that we received from Revitalizing Main Street is primarily for a electronic sign, to do public safety announcements, events, constructions, whatever. But that's key to that grant. Having that public safety, being able to notify people of COVID, whatever it is. And then you'll see MURA and impact fees. Those monies will be utilized for gateway, downtown, businesses, municipal destination, and park signs. So vertical, eye-catching, and 3D, which is different and not seen around here. A lot of the signage in this area is slate, rock, and it all kind of blends in. It's also very expensive. Slate and rock is very expensive and more difficult to maintain. So we loved this, and Slim Designs, it is 3D, so as you're driving by, it catches your eye. You'll see that panel right there, where the Mead logo is. That is actually removable. So should horror, in my opinion, strike, and we change the logo again, that can be taken off, and a new logo can be put on. So, prepping. Horror. But building that in just in case. Also, you know, if you want to change the colors or whatever it may be, it gives us an option to remove a section but not replace the entire sign. So, downtown LED top sign, again, it's vertical, so it's large and eye-catching. It would be able to play video and just regular, you know, concert in the park advertisements. And then gateway, you can see they put that into where it would be. Now, the color on that, the yellow and the blue, those are the things that we're still deciding on. So the plan was for them to send in metal samples so we could actually see it, because it looks different on a picture than it is in hand. Those were lost in a hurricane, I guess, and so we are waiting to get those samples from them, because they're on the East Coast, and so we'll get those samples and we'll look at that, look at those colors and what works. So those, the blue and the yellow, also impact this. So if you change those two colors on the sign, your blue area, that might change as well, because you don't want it to blend in together. So those are things that we're still working on, but again, we're going one pole with directionals. And looking to 2022, I have been working with iWork and Erica on a new thing called Text My Gov. Just trying to give residents another avenue to communicate with us and also us to communicate with them. So it is a texting platform, it is not an app. They do put a widget, that's that little box right there, they can put that on our website, and people would be able to text in, report a pothole, report complaints of, you know, whatever we have listed out, all through text messaging. On that same thing, we would be able to text out to them public safety, road closures, construction, events, the gamut. So that is something that we're looking at, just as another avenue to communicate with residents, get people to hear us more. As much as I post on social media, it still doesn't pop up in everybody's newsfeed, and then it's frustrating. So just giving them another avenue to communicate with us and us to communicate with them, is what I'm looking for. Questions?
What, more information? Okay, questions?
We have time.
Steve?
I think it's awesome. Question about the widget.
Yes.
There's a lady named Allison that seems to work at every car lot, website you go to or whatever, it pops up, right? You know, hey, I'm online, what can I do to help you? You erase her. 2 seconds later, hey, I'm online, what can I do? Is it gonna be that level of annoyance, or will it be a reactive as opposed to a proactive widget?
So they have 4 different ones that I was kind of looking at today on other websites. This is the smaller one that I prefer. Some of them kind of can be popped up to give more in-depth explanation. But once you minimize, she's gone.
Awesome, thank you.
Is it you?
It is not me.
I actually have a question about that also. Is it selective? Can you say, I only wanna hear about events and construction
It is.
and don't wanna hear about public safety?
Yes, it is. It's selective, much like our website alerts. They go in and they can, you know, they wanna hear about board meetings or road constructions or whatever. Yeah, it's depending on what they wanna know about.
Wow. I'm not usually speechless, but, community day. I went to one concert, which is weird, cause I usually attend them all, but weird summer, and I feel like maybe it was the same, it took a while to get the ball rolling, so community day, I was there for 9.5 hours, which is not even a tiny ounce of what these guys were there, and it was mind-blowing. I've been here for 14 years, and there's been a lot of community days, and it usually is kind of that event that really brings people together. You know, it's morphed and everything, but I just wanna say kudos to the entire staff, but to you for spearheading it and implementing. It was so well run that the microburst and mini tornado, whatever you wanna call it, and holding on to our tents, with all our might, didn't even seem like a blip because it was so well run. And the food was amazing at the food trucks, and people are willing to pay when they're hungry, and there's interesting and unique food here. But this presentation is exact. It's because of the activities, the bands, and the food that was there. The draw was amazing. It was so amazing to see people there for hours. The foam might have been a big draw for the kids. I might have lost a son, although he came out sparkling clean several hours later. But it does take a lot, and I agree, it was awesome to see the football players, but they also were beyond helpful. What a wonderful group of young men, and kudos to Coach Platt for that. But they were so very helpful, and I agree, like to take that weight for the parking and helping with vendor setup, but then also vendor teardown, so that some of the vendors and people who had been there for a while could watch face, or, you know, but yeah, I cannot say it enough, and I wanted to say it publicly, how wonderful an event it was, so kudos to you and all the staff. It was awesome.
Thank you. It really was a collaboration. I mean, it's a large event,
and could not be done without public works and multiple meetings and, you know, chamber, and Mountain View Fire. It's just kind of all
Well done.
collaboration. Chris?
Just have one more comment. Mead knows how to do a fireworks show. And we watched, we were delayed, and we went out onto our deck, and we could see them, we could hear them, but what was even more impressive is you could hear the people cheering. And, I mean, we're 3/4 of a mile away, and just to hear that response was really amazing, so kudos on that also.
And it goes right over my house. I'm sitting out there going like this, watching, make sure it doesn't land on my house.
Your roof, exactly.
Yeah, it was
So good.
a nice fireworks.
If that would
Yep.
the whole thing.
Ditto for everything. So thank you for this presentation, keeping us up to date on everything you've been working on for 2022. The only thing that I didn't get to see was Chief getting dumped. So I'm not sure if he ever got in the water, but nobody dunked him. He was dry.
No, they drained the tank,
Oh, too many foamers in there.
so it was gonna be a little hard landing. Maybe next year.
Wow. Well, congratulations on the great summer event. We look forward to the rest of the year and looking forward to what budget season we can come up with and try to figure out if we can do more with less, and we'll figure it out. But thank you very much for your update.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, could I just
Yes.
throw in a couple more things that it wasn't without peril, because many of you were aware of the light pole that came down expeditiously in a guillotine-like fashion that didn't hit anybody. It was right next to the axe throwing. So that happened, and then we also had a branch come down. But to look at it on the positive side, we got United Power out, and they removed the pole and stabilized everything, which was fantastic. Also, a big shout out to our Public Works Department, who had those trees all trimmed, like in the last couple weeks, for that very reason. So, great, we had the Public Works staff were right on when that pole came down and the branch, and I think they did a great job. I'd also just like to give another shout out to Boulder Scientific. I mean, the CFO came in and brought a check, just $1,000 just to give without any kind of recognition on the sign. They just wanted to be part of the community, letting us use their property and letting us park there, and the football team helping people park. I mean, there's so much goodness that came out of this community, really, really awesome. I mean, I bet I talked to 30 different people, among others, Nicole Brine from Anytime Fitness, who was really excited too that we're gonna do something ultimately with the bean plant. She's like, it won't compete with me, I want that, it'll be complimentary. So I thought that was really good to know, and she marched over to the booth and wanted to hear more about it. But just great, this was just a great community event. I personally liked it better than I've been to the last 6. I just thought it was fantastic. So thank you all too for your support and for everything that everybody did, it was fantastic.
Alright, thanks, Helen. Alright, we'll move on to our proclamation for the night. It's Constitution Week, and Trustee Bradhead will be reading this proclamation.
Carmen Down Chapter, National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution, Constitution Week Proclamation. Whereas September 17, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorial anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation every year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, Colleen Link Whitlow, by virtue of the authority vested in her as mayor of the town of Mead, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. In witness whereof, she has hereunto set her hand and caused the sale of the town of Mead to be affixed to this 13th day of September of the year of our Lord, 2021.
Thank you, Deb. Is there a motion to authorize the signing of the proclamation?
I'll make a motion to authorize the signing of the proclamation of Constitution.
Second?
Any discussion? Okay, roll call please, Mary.
Trustee Cartwright?
Yes.
Trustee Fox?
Yes.
Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams?
Yes.
Trustee Broadhead?
Yes.
Mayor Whitlow?
Yes. Thank you, motion carries. We move on to our first public comment of the evening. The board welcomes public comment for any item, whether it is on the agenda or not. The board will listen to your comments and take them into consideration. If you desire a conversation, please email the board or the town manager, or attend the quarterly open forum or monthly coffee with the mayor. If you are with us virtually, please indicate by raising your hand to speak. When you're recognized, please state your name and address for the record. Again, if you would like to speak during the public comment, please adhere to the town's general guidelines. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board of trustees. If you are representing a group, you will have 5 minutes. Is there anyone in the room here in town hall that would like to speak to the trustees tonight? Okay, seeing none. Is there anyone with us virtually that would like to speak at this first public comment tonight? Okay. Thank you very much. Move on to our consent agenda. Contains items which are considered routine and enacted in one motion. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda for September 13th, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call please, Mary.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams?
Yes.
Trustee Broadhead?
Yes.
Trustee Fox?
Yes.
Trustee Cartwright?
Yes.
Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Whitlow?
Yes. Thank you, motion carries. We'll move on to our second public comment of the evening. The board has no additional business tonight. So we're back to our second public comment period. Again, please raise your hands to speak if you are hand to speak. When you are recognized, state your name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. I'd like to remind those members of the public in attendance here at Town Hall and with virtually that I review the general guidelines for the public comment at open meetings at the start of tonight's meeting. Is there again anyone with us in Town Hall that would like to speak during the second public comment? Hearing none, anyone virtually with us would like to speak with us? All right, we'll move on to elected official reports. Any of the town trustees would like to see anything, bring up anything? Okay. Oh,
Congrats to the chief, they had a busy month.
I want to say one thing. Quick Trip is making kind of waves on next door. People are noticing that it's being built on 119, and I think the sign went up on 66. Is that right?
No, I don't believe there's been any sign go up.
Okay, well, somebody made a mention that there's a sign on 66 on the south side of 66 at I-25. So just tossing it out there. But people are pretty excited about it, and they're very excited that it's not the smaller version, but the larger version of the Quick Trip that they've designated to put in. So it's kind of causing a bit of a stir, so I thought it was good. It's good press for us, and we probably should kind of move that along, or make people aware of it.
Could I make a comment?
Yes, of course.
So we met with the team from Quick Trip last week, and they were so complimentary of our staff, particularly Colin, for his quick turnaround of the comments. So I think we just did the 3rd round of comments, and they said it's the best they've had of anywhere they're working through. So just remember, this is their plan to be along I-25. They're not mutually exclusive. The one at 119, ours at 66. There's others in Denver, there's one going into Loch Buoy, so there's, and as well as Frederick, so they have several locations. They're going for a real deep market penetration, but they did buy the entire Mead Crossing subdivision, so that's really, really significant for our economic development.
How many lots are in that little subdivision?
I'm gonna say 30 plus or minus,
Really?
but it's kind of immaterial because the lots were all platted in the 90s, so their shapes are not like what you would typically want today. So what you'll see is lots being combined, lot lines, you know, they'll come in like what they're doing, they're putting together 4 lots. Typically on these older subdivisions, they come in and replat. But they are marketing to other companies that they'd like to see in there. Allegedly in an Outburger they're talking to, so just so you know, it opens up some opportunities that we haven't had because the owner was reluctant to sell. So they bought a whole shooting match, and I'm really excited about it because I think that there's gonna be a lot more to come than just Quick Trip. But the Quick Trip is a very high quality place. I think we'll be really pleased with it.
Are they talking at all about a light in that area, or are they too close to I-25 and that light to put in another light? I don't know what the distance requirements are, but is that
Yeah.
something that they're,
So
do you
they're-
know at all if that's
Yeah,
a consideration?
we're talking about it. I don't know yet from their traffic report if it triggers it, but the light at the exit where you, or at the road, what's the name of the road, Colin, that they come out on?
I can picture it in my head, I know
Yeah.
exactly which one it is.
Like
but-
Foster Ridge Drive, I think is what it's called, or something like that, but right there would be a signal, but I don't know yet if it's triggered by this. It'll absolutely be triggered by the development of that site, more than a Quick Trip.
They have also been ranked as one of the top, employers, for 3 years in a row by, I think it was Forbes magazine or something like that. They are a top-notch company, and they believe in cleanliness, safety, and community. And I was thinking that maybe we should communicate or talk with them perhaps about investing in our community center.
Yeah, they, pay their managers $100,000 a year. They tend to have long-term, the guy that is a 25-year employee who started out as a manager and he's now like a vice president, but they pay their employees really well. They insisted that if you go there for a week, by Friday, they'll know your name. It's a very personable place that really values employees and customers. So really excited to go.
Yeah. Told you I'd get one.
You'll get to go there at 1:30 in the morning to get one of those ones. That way you know.
Alright, well, I just wanted to bring up something that we could consider if we wanted to do this, was to, support, our ballot initiative as a resolution. So we've been doing this the last couple of years, and, you know, I'm not sure when it would be appropriate, if it's the next meeting or the next meeting in October, but we've done it in the past as a resolution as the Board of Trustees in support of our ballot initiative, and I'm just trying to get a feel of if the board would like to direct staff to do that within the next couple of meetings before the November election. Marcus, is that something we can do?
Yes, you can do that. In fact, it's encouraged because that's one of the things that the town board can do under the applicable FCPA regulations. I suppose and I can speak with Mary offline, but I'm trying to remember. I know the Uacopa ballot, those are mailed earlier, but when will the ballots roughly be mailed? Do you happen to know?
Roughly October 10th to the 15th.
Okay, so I think either of the next 2 regular meetings, I think would be, so do you have a preference? I mean, I could definitely work with staff to have that ready for your next, regular meeting on the 27th.
It's fine by me, I just didn't know if I could bring that up and support, if everybody supported that resolution going forward.
Okay, great, we'll do.
Next one. Alright, thank you. Again, I just wanna say from my point of view, at 5:30 in the morning, putting up flags on Saturday was a really magical day. So I just wanna say thank you, to the staff and all the volunteers for that day, and, throughout the whole season of this nice ending of COVID. So, I'm grateful for all of you tonight, and I'm thankful for the people that are with us in virtual land, and for you those who are in town hall tonight. And I'd like to get, if we can, a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Babcock,
Yes.
trustee Harris,
Yes.
trustee Fox,
Yes.
trustee Broadhead,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Adams,
Yes.
trustee Cartwright,
Yes.
Mayor Whitlow.
Yes, thank you. September 13th, 2021 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees is now adjourned at 6:58. Thank you and have a good evening.